Yo, what's up everybody? So, Artifact got announced. There's like lots of new information available and I just want to talk about it. I'm pretty excited for Artifact, as I have mentioned a long time ago. I'm a big fan of card games. Seriously, like I have been playing card games since I was like tiny, alright? Like since I was a little kid, I've been playing card games. And yeah, so I just want to talk about Artifact and what's going on here. And I also want to kind of like discuss the business model. I got a whole bunch of stuff like kind of ready here. So let's just get into it, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to just show you guys the game. And then kind of like discuss how the game goes. I'm sure you have seen some of this footage before. This is like one scummy piece of shit YouTube channel that just like ripped these two videos from Game Informer and slapped them together and uploaded it as their own. I'm not just gonna do that. Like, we're here to actually talk about the stuff. I'm actually gonna give you some input on how things work and all of that. You know, guide you through it. Because there is a pretty long article here. I mean, you can feel free to read that. It's on Game Informer, right? I think, what is the article called? Let me actually just like scroll up and show you guys so we like give credit. Artifact, how do you play it and how will you pay for it? So you can go ahead and feel free to read the entire article if you want. But we're just gonna go ahead and look at it. So, in this little bit of footage we have here, we are going to see 2 turns being played. Now, this is going to be a total of 5 minutes played relatively slowly. They say that they want a game of Artifact to take between 15 and 25 minutes. Alright, so it's really not, like, I think in an actual game of Artifact, the 5 minutes we're about to go into are in all likelihood going to be played much quicker. Right, so the 5 minutes might actually be more 2 minutes in the actual gameplay once we have our hands on it. So you might be going through 15 to 20 turns a game. Maybe. This is just speculation, right? Like, I don't know the complexity of the decks, and that's something we're about to see as well. That I think what's going on right here is we have some very simple decks that aren't complex at all, and that's just so that the game journalists can actually go and play them, because as we all know, game journalists aren't the best at video games. So, you can already see in the starting screen something that is really, really important. You can see a list of heroes, right? So you can see that our Radiant team here has Crystal Main, Zeus, Rix, Lycan, and Luna. And then up at the top, we've got Bristleback, this Red Orc Lady, Legion Commander, Phantom Assassin, and Axe. The game is played on this board of 3 lanes, right? It's like 3 different boards that you play. It's a bit weird, you'll see in a second. But essentially what happens is you put 5 hero cards into your deck. A deck of 40 cards. Each hero card comes with, I believe, 3 specific, like hero-specific cards that you're in all likelihood also going to be putting into your deck. So about half your deck is going to be like pretty much determined or decided by the heroes you play. Each hero comes in a color. So you can see right here we have a blue hero, green hero, blue hero, red hero, black hero, red hero, black hero, red hero. These kind of colors might be very reminiscent of another game called Magic the Gathering. Now, that reminiscence, I don't think is an accident, because the guy designing this game is Richard Garfield. Who is Richard Garfield? Oh, nobody. Just the inventor of Magic the Gathering. So that's, pretty sick. Now, on that note as well, from what I heard, the story going into development of this game wasn't that Valve was like, okay, we want somebody to make a Dota card game for us. Who are we going to hire? Let's hire Richard Garfield to make a Dota game for us. No, that wasn't the plan. But instead, Richard Garfield came up with a card game, right? He just was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna like design a new card game. He came up with one. And then he's like, oh, this might fit with Dota or League or like one of those MOBAs that the kids play these days. I don't know, in my head he's like an old man that is sitting on his porch or something like that. But then he approached Valve, and then Valve was like, oh yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. That would work well together. So this is actually something that I think is really important to keep in mind. This is not a game that was made to be a Dota card game. Instead, it was a card game that was made on its own merits, which was then just skinned to be the Dota card game. Which is actually pretty cool. I like that. I think that's kind of neat. Now, I don't know if we're just going to have only these 4 colors. There might be case you are familiar with Magic, you know that there is a color missing, right? White is missing. So, and I also don't know if the cards given to these colors, to these specific colors, will be similar to Magic, where, you know, like green is kind of like the big and scary, you know, like play big beasts kind of color. And then you've got blue, which is card draw and control and counter spells. You've got black, which just murders everything, and red, which just goes face. Right? Like, I don't know if that still exists here. Although looking at this, you can see that the blue heroes are more of the caster heroes, right? And then we've got the green. I don't know anything about Rix, but Rix, you know, but Lycan is like more of it like a tanky pusher, right? And then on the other side, we have the tanky heroes, which are red. You've got Axe, Legion Commander, and Bristleback. Those are all tanky. And then you've got Phantom Assassin as black, which Phantom Assassin stabs people, so it kind of makes sense. And then you've got that other character. I don't know what her name is, right? But she's also black. Now, well, it kind of makes me think that she might also be some sort of like assassin type character, is that she actually has a very high attack value and low HP. So she probably has some abilities. You can see the attack value here, and then this is the HP value. But yeah. So, it's not like any of Richard games other than Magic the Gathering were popular. Yeah, I get that. I'm not saying that just because Richard Garfield is working on it, it's going to be automatically perfect, right? But I do think it's noteworthy that Richard Garfield is working on it. And even though, like, he may not have had the greatest successes with his other games, honestly, I'm not too familiar with those. There's undeniable pedigree there, and like he made Magic. Like, that's a big deal. Magic is the granddaddy of all modern card games. So anyway, let's get into it a bit, right? So you put these 5... Oh, she's called Solar Khan or something like that. And you can see the board here. So these are the free boards. Now, something you'll immediately see while the cards are given out is that on these boards, there are towers here, right? And each of these has 40 life. How do you win in this game? Well, you have to destroy 2 towers from your opponent, which can either be just 2 towers in 2 different lanes. Each of these boards is a lane. Or it can be 2 towers in a single lane. In that case, after you destroy this tower, an Ancient will appear. I don't know if the Ancient is more tanky. It probably is. Like, we haven't really seen the Ancient. But... you can also just like destroy 2 buildings in a single lane and then win the game that way. Ancient has 80 HP. Alright, so the Ancient is more difficult to kill. So the easier way to win in terms of like having to minimize how much damage you deal would just be to kill, you know, 2 different lanes. So that's kind of how you win. Well, where did you guys see the Ancient has 80 HP? I didn't even see that before. Alright, anyway. So you can see that if we go back a little bit, these cards are being laid out. Now, this is randomized. Oh, hey, Sonia JB, thanks for the sub, my man. So, this is randomized. Every lane is going to have one of the 5 heroes put into it. Alright, so you've got Lycan here, Luna here, and I think Khan or whatever his name is. I forgot. But Rix? I'm bad with names. We've got Rix, I believe, in this lane over here. And then we have Bristleback here, we've got Legion Commander here, and that other new hero over there. Now, what's important to keep in mind here is that you can only cast spells in each given lane that share the color of the hero in the lane. Okay? I know, so we've got Lycan here, because he is in this lane is considered to be green. So you can only cast green spells in this lane. You can only cast blue spells in this lane. You can only cast green spells in this lane. And your opponent can similarly only cast black spells here, red spells here, and red spells here. So, this is the first kind of like turn, I guess, right? You can see that our player here is going to draw some cards. He's got 5 cards in hand. Now, this is something that personally I find a little bit... I'm not the biggest fan of it. Let's just put it that way. Right? You can immediately see that there's actually nothing our side can do. We have no plays. We have nothing we can do. Now, I don't know if that's because the decks aren't optimized, right? Like, again, I think they might have given the journalists some simpler decks, so that could be why. Or if drawing is just really, like, drawing well is just really important in this game. That could also be it. So you can see there is 3 mana available. This right here is your mana pool. This right here is the tower's HP pool. Let's talk quickly about the board. I think the board actually looks really nice. It's got a nice physical look. I'm glad they're going for that. I think that's a big reason why Hearthstone is so successful, is that they went for that like nice physical look where it just seems really applicable to reality. Works great that way, right? I think it looks really nice. But yeah, so what's going to happen is both players now have the option of playing cards and kind of like passing turns back and forth a little bit. And then at the end of it, both sides are going to attack whichever unit they are pointing at. You can see up here that this creep will attack this creep, and this creep will attack this creep. And then you've got Lycan here who will attack this bristleback, and this bristleback will attack the Lycan. Right now, it doesn't always need to work exactly like that. Characters sometimes can also attack sideways in various ways, but this is the simplest form right here. Now, creeps tend to be 2 and 4. Now, this right here is the HP number, this right here is the damage number, right? Fairly simple. It seems to me that Lycan probably buffs creeps in his lane, right? You can see that this creep does 4 damage as opposed to just 2. So that's why this creep will be able to kill this creep. Now, if you do kill a creep, you get gold. Let's just go ahead and let this play out. All right, let's just go ahead and let this play out. Gold is going to be relevant later. But as you can see, there's actually nothing that we can do. It's just nothing we can do. The game shows you how much HP and all of that you're going to have. Can you put the video on full? I can like try to make it even bigger. Okay. All right. That's about as big as we can go. Nope, now we're kind of starting to miss out on a little bit. All right, I think that's about as big as I can make it. So, all right, so we can't do anything, so we click the little artifact button, and we pass the turn. Boom. Opponent also passes the turn, and then combat happens. You can see that our character, our creep here, destroyed this creep, and our Lycan, while he's still alive, it's now showing that next time this is going to happen, it's going to... like the Lycan is going to die. You can also see that in the bottom right corner, we now have a gold, right? Like before we had 0, now we have 1. Now the same thing is going to go down in this lane. We have this Legion Commander attacking our Luna, right? I imagine a Legion Commander has some sort of counter attack, which is why she's going to kill this Luna, even though she only does 6 damage, right? And Luna has 8 HP, so it probably like does 2 extra damage through the counter attack, and then the 2 creeps fighting each other. Now we can actually play things in this lane. You can see that we have 2 of our cards come online. We have Cunning Plan and Frostbite available. We're still not able to play the Dimensional Portals and Truth to Power. We don't have the mana for that, but those 2 could be played. What's important to keep in mind is that each lane has individual mana. Right, so each lane kind of is its own little card game, a very simplified card game, but still a card game. And the trick is to manage all 3 of them, which actually, like, to me, like, I'm on board with that. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, the way the game is looking right now, it's actually looking really fun. Now, let me go and get to something that I am personally a bit worried about, because something that's really important to me specifically as a streamer, as a content creator, right, is I want the game to be visually appealing. That's one of the strengths of Hearthstone. Hearthstone is super, super pretty, all right, and it looks great. Oh, my camera's in the way. All right, look, yeah, now you can see it a little bit better. But Hearthstone is visually incredibly appealing, which is one of the great things about it. In Hearthstone, you know, like, if I play, you know, like a blizzard, then there is actually just like this storm of ice that rains down on the enemies. And if I cast a fireball, but there's a fireball coming. If I cast Pyroblast, which is a bigger fireball, this giant-ass fireball comes, right? If I play Deathwing, a dragon appears and, like, stomps on the board. If I play, you know, and if I have my Deathwing in play, which is a 12 attack minion, and 12 attack is a massive amount of attack in that game, right, since you only have 30 lives, so you hit something with 12 attack, there's like, the screen shakes, and there's this big explosion, and there's cheering in the background. That is what makes Hearthstone so incredibly visually appealing, and that's what, you know, I really hope they do in this game as well. Now, let's go ahead and have our hero play Frostbite. Alright, it's got 3 mana. His Luna's gonna die. Doesn't want that. Frostbite disarms, meaning Legion Commander won't be able to attack. So, you know, it would be a good thing to do. Deal 2 damage to a unit and disarm. So, we're gonna go ahead and throw down the Frostbite. Cunning Plan, buddy. Swap a unit with one of its neighbors. Draw a card. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a prediction. I know it's really early. I think that card is really good. I think the Cunning Plan card will see a lot of play. I'm just saying. Right? It seems to me like that card would be really good. Anyway, Frostbite gonna be coming out here. And it's gonna be cast on a Legion Commander. Select unit to damage. So Legion Commander takes 2 damage here. And cannot attack anymore. And this is where I am a little disappointed. Look at this visual effect from the Frostbite. That's just nothing. You know, like, yay, she's a little blue now. That's just lame. Alright, chat, push 1 if that's just lame. Like, I'm not impressed. Are you guys impressed? I'm not impressed. It's just, you know, like, I want that stuff to be cool and visually appealing. You know, if I cast a Frostbolt in Hearthstone, like, there's actually a Frostbolt that comes flying. And in here, the Legion Commander just got a little bit chilly. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping they still work on it. Gotta keep in mind the game is an early beta, and I'm aware of that. You know, I know that. Alright, so, oh well. Anyway. So, that means you used your free mana. Now the creeps are, or everything's gonna attack each other again. Cool. And here we go into the next lane. Now, right here, our hero would just die to her. Just straight up die. But his turn, plays the Grazing Shot. Deals 2 damage to a unit in any lane. Now this right here is kind of interesting. Right? So you kind of take turns in terms of playing cards, as you can see. Right? Like this attack happens. Now his button over here is active and our button isn't. And as you can see, like, well, I guess like our cards won't line up anyway because we can't do anything. But you know, previously it looked a bit different and we would actually have the option of pushing this button. But right now it's his turn. And it's just going to be able to like play a card. And then it's our turn and then we get to do something. Right? So Grazing Shot. Deal 2 damage to a unit in any lane. So this is kind of like a little trebuchet right here. And it's going to snipe the Lycan. Which is cool. I like that animation. That's a sick animation, right? Like I really hope the game looks cool. To me that's so important. But yeah. Again, has nothing that we don't have anything that we can do. Now, something that's kind of important to keep in mind here is that we actually don't get to draw cards while, like, between those steps, right? As we're rotating through the board, we don't actually get to draw a card. Instead, we keep whatever hand we had at the start of the turn. This is all considered to be 1 turn. Now we pass our turn because we don't have anything to do. And now it's his turn again. Like he can do something, then pass again, and then the creeps are going to punch each other. So currently our hero is just going to die. And this is where I kind of personally, I find it a little bit disappointing. Hey, Herakmon. Thanks, man. Appreciate the sub, right? But here's where I find it kind of a bit disappointing because like this right here is kind of decided by randomness. Right, this is decided by luck of the draw. I didn't get to choose where my hero went at the beginning, and my hero just got put into a position where I had no chance to protect him. I had nothing I could do. It's just dead. It's just dead. Right, so that's kind of unfortunate. Anyway, so Trebuchet is going to be played again.
Hey bro, hope you're well.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Now, you can see that attack was played. Turn passed again. Now it's our turn. We can pass the turn again. Now it's his turn. He can play a card or pass. We go into combat because he passes, right? He doesn't have anything he wants to do anymore. So the only time you really go into combat is when both players pass their turn. Combat happens. I lose my hero, right? And that's round 1 done. Cool. Let's go into round 2. So, in between rounds, and this is what the money is for that I pointed out earlier, we got ourselves a little bit of stuff, right? And you can see we have 10 gold. Look in the top right right here. Oh, you can't see it? Wait, let me go move this shit over a bit. You can see 10 gold, right? 10 gold. So now we get to decide what do we want to buy, right? Like we can buy an item. A Crypt Hero has +2 attack, draw a card, or Crypt Hero has +16 health. +16 health is a lot. Right, and the Blink Dagger also has an active ability, move a Crypt Hero to another lane, which is cool. I love the idea of active abilities. Now it seems like our, like kind of player here didn't buy anything. And you can see how now there's like a whole bunch of creeps that are going to be positioned in lanes. And we get the choice of 2 heroes. So we have this fella, again, and we have Zeus. And they can be placed in 2 lanes. Right, so we're going to send him over there. And we're going to send Zeus over there. Now this, again, is going to make this a green lane, this a blue lane, and this another blue lane. Now our opponent only gains access to 1 new hero. Now I imagine that's because they didn't lose one. Now you can have more than 1 hero in a lane, that is possible. But this is like one of those things where the exact details aren't entirely clear to me. Just because it's like, I don't know. We don't have like all the information about the game yet, right? Now, right here, this is somewhat important, actually, is this right here are these, if somebody in chat knows how exactly this works, right, like, please feel free to let me know. But these lane cards, they're going to be played by these little devils here, right, and they define how the creeps are going to be attacking. So if you pay attention down here, these 2 lane cards are now pointing from here to the bristleback and from here to the creep. Meaning that we're about to go into the lane over there. Our Zeus attacks over here and our Creeper attacks over here. And you can see that based on the arrow. Alright, cool. Now, we got to draw 2 additional cards this turn. Right? We don't just draw 1, we draw 2. Which is kind of neat. But again, that only happens at the start of each of these like 3 turn phases. Okay? That doesn't happen at the start of each turn, I guess, but it happens at the start of the big phase. Oh, give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. Hello. I'm kind of doing a thing, so I'll be right there, okay? Alright, sorry. Just my girlfriend just came home. So, I'm gonna go ahead and pass this. Now, we're gonna hear a little bit of dialogue in just a second. So, so he has this card summon 3 melee creeps. Right?
So that'll deal additional damage to the tower. Okay.
Basically no limit.
If I summon the 3 creeps, can I have 3 more creeps in this lane, or is there a max?
There is no max. There's basically no limits in this game. Your hand can go as wide as it wants. The lanes can go as wide as they want.
So to kind of like repeat that, the journalist asked if you can summon the 3 creeps and what's the maximum on the board. And then he was told that there's really no limits. Like, you can have your board as wide as you want. You can have your hand as big as you want. Like, really, anything you get, there's just no limits. You can do whatever you want. And that's kind of interesting. That's very unusual, actually. Most card games have a limit in that sense. Anyway, summon 3 melee creeps is what's going to happen here, right? So he's just going to summon some creeps. Now, something I personally find very interesting is that he actually points over here. And they spawn over here. Now, to me, that's actually kind of interesting. Like, how does that happen? Why is that? Well, I think it might be because the game just doesn't let you pick. Or maybe because summons always happen on the left, like they do in Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, they actually always happen on the right. But yeah, I mean, that could be it, right? Like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that you can't choose. I also find it a bit disappointing because I feel like in especially a game like this, choosing where you summon shit is incredibly important. Right? Isn't that the most important thing? Another thing you may have noticed is that it actually moved over the entire board. So these 2 were attacking this, right? Summoning these creeps didn't make it so that only your units get moved, but instead these movement units got moved as well. So they are still attacking like this, which is interesting. Yeah, and then Vicious Nasal Goo, modify unit with -2 armor, but Zeus should still be pretty safe over here. Both players now have used their 4 mana. Right, so you kind of take turns playing stuff. Now, Stonehowl Pike. Equipped hero has +2 attack. Modify Stonehowl Pike with equipped hero has +1 attack after the combat phase. Now, this is really interesting, actually, because this item is something that player bought in the shop in between the phases, right? It doesn't use mana. It doesn't use mana at all. Previously, these kind of cards, you know, like every time you play something from your hand, you use mana. But he already used 4 mana. He's got 0 mana right now. And Stonehowl Pike is just free. So he just equips that on the hero. And you can see he takes up one of these equipment slots up here, which is also interesting, right? It seems to me like there's a weapon, a shield, and then a heart. So I guess like weapon, armor, and defense. Something like that. Anyway, Bristleback beats something up. And then we go into lane 2. Now, lane 2, and this is something I'm kind of worried about, it's looking pretty bad. It's looking pretty bad, right? Like, for us, like, this is not a good lane. It's got 2 heroes. It's just completely overwhelming us. I don't know how much this will happen. I'm sure they have precautions for it, and I'm sure, like, this is something that really just comes down to what kind of cards they have in the game. I'm kind of worried that it might be, like, very snowbally. You know, like, once I have 3 heroes in a lane, I mean, what you gonna do? Like, how are you actually gonna, like, come back from that? This seems very, very difficult, right? Anyway. Alright, so we've got 4 mana here. Some 3 mana creeps seems like an option again. But, yeah. You know, right now the Phantom Assassin is attacking that creep over there. So, gonna be pretty hardcore. It's gonna swap the Luna with the creep. And then still just get absolutely destroyed. That was not the world's best play. But you can see that these 2 creeps here are going to actually attack the tower. So the tower will start taking a bit of damage as well. And then short sword, equipped hero has +2 attack. So this Legion Commander is looking pretty scary. Yeah, we're getting wrecked pretty bad here. Boom. You come back from that by having 2 heroes on both upper lanes, I guess. But I'm just saying that it seems very snowbally, right? Also, that is not actually a way to come back from that. Because he still lost that lane. I'm not saying that it's going to be something that's impossible to deal with. I'm just wondering how they are going to make it so that you can't snowball. Because, like, the inherent tendencies of this game do seem very snowbally, since you do retain the board from the previous turn. Anyway, that is all the footage we have. That's when they are told to stop recording. And so on. Cool. So this right here is what we have in terms of cards currently in the game, right? So Axe is just like a big giant tank. Bristleback got some ability here. Crystal Maiden, they return 2 mana for every spell cast. It seems incredibly powerful, right? Continuous effect, Moment of Courage, Retaliate 2. So I assume like when you get hit, you hit back for 2 damage, Lucent Beam. Before the action phase, do 1 piercing damage to a random enemy and add a charge to each Eclipse card in your hand or deck. Lycan, Feral Impulse. Lycan's other neighbors have +2 attack. So you can kind of see what kind of cards they have here. A lot of these cards seem to be very positioning based. Do 1 piercing damage to Zeus enemies' neighbors after you play a blue spell. Right? Like, it's all very positioning based, and I love that. I love that. I think the fact that it's about positioning is great. That's something that Hearthstone is not utilizing enough, in my opinion. I think Hearthstone is a game that could utilize positioning, but they really don't. I mean, it's only Flame Tongue Totem and like a few other cards like it, but it's just not that much, and it's kind of a shame in my opinion. Right, Hero Scapegoat Hero has +16 health. So you can kind of see the sort of cards we're going to see in the game. Yeah. Now, let's talk about something entirely different. Let's talk about money, because who doesn't like some money? Chat, push 1 if you like some money. Money, 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 money. Bitches money, bitches money. Now, one of the things that I'm sure you all have heard already is that the artifact is not going to be free to play. Right? It's just not going to be a free-to-play game. Now, wow, that is interesting. I wonder what that means. Why is it not a free-to-play game, right? Like, why did they do that? Why did they say that it's not going to be free-to-play? Weird. So there's like a few more, you know, like board sets here. Luna's blasting somebody and all of that. Anyway, I'm sure you've seen like enough of the game yet to kind of get an impression of what it's like. So no longer free to play. Before we played Artifact, a group of friends sat down with Gabe Newell to talk about Valve's hopes for Artifact as a marketplace. When you're in a free-to-play environment, you end up with this tendency that rarity equals power, Newell said. So you're trying to create this artificial relationship between the two, and that's not the case at all with Artifact. Newell promises that common cards will be among the most powerful, and that the company will try to steer away from pay-to-win models as much as possible. Now, this right here is something you're going to hear a lot. The company will try to steer away from pay-to-win models as much as possible. Now, I have done some research. I have looked into this, and you can find this online, no problem, right? Just go to Artifact subreddit or something. But let me go ahead and introduce you to something. Thinking about packs. Purchasing a pack should have positive externalities, not just rent extraction. Opening a pack is a spectatable event. Game modes will be based on packs. Like compendiums in Dota 2, revenue will feed into tournament pools. So that's actually really cool. I like that a lot. But the game is not free to play, so it's going to cost an upfront fee. I have thrown $15 to $25 thrown around, which honestly is pretty cheap. Like I'm fine with that. But they are always like, it's not going to be pay to win. It's not going to be pay to win. It's not pay to win. Now, here is what I think. Okay, this is just my opinion. I think they keep throwing around the terms, it's not pay to win, to this Hearthstone. I think that's why. I think they keep saying it's not going to be pay to win to make people associate other card games with the idea of pay to win. Their biggest competitor in this space is Hearthstone. So, they're trying to make it so that people associate Hearthstone with pay to win. Everybody associates pay to win with something bad. Pay to win is always bad. Who the hell wants pay to win? So we are not pay to win. Now, what does this game mode do different from Hearthstone in terms of its monetization? Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, in Hearthstone, to get pack cards, you can unlock packs. You know, you can play and do quests, and you get gold for that, and you can buy packs with that. Once a week, there's a tavern brawl. You get a pack for that, and you can also just kind of, you know, like get gold through playing. You can again buy packs through that, and every once in a while, they'll just give you free packs, which is nice. And then you can just buy packs, you know? You can just go into the store and buy packs. And in those packs, there's going to be cards. And those cards, they come in 4 different rarities. You have normal, rare, epic, and legendary, right? The cost is pretty expensive. A legendary in Hearthstone, some people did the math on this, but a legendary in Hearthstone is priced between $20 and $25, which is quite expensive, of course, but, I mean, that's kind of what they add, right? Now, how does Artifact? How is Artifact so different that it can claim to not be pay to win if Hearthstone is? Well, you're going to have an upfront cost, meaning you have to buy the game in the first place. Then once you're in the game, there's no way to actually earn packs in any way other than just buying them through money. There are still packs, and in those packs, I assume there's still going to be different rarities of cards. Like, I imagine a hero card will be more rare than any sort of spell in most cases, right? They haven't talked about rarity at all, but, you know, I'm just saying purchasing packs still exists. You can still purchase packs. It's very, very clearly says it there, purchasing a pack, so it happens, right? Like, you can buy packs. Right? So we also have some, you know, like, forward quotes here. Packs are social and competitive experience. Another thing that this game has, is going to have, is that it's going to actually have a set rotation. Meaning, what is a set rotation? It's actually something that Hearthstone has as well. Magic the Gathering has it. Basically, every competitive card game has this. Pokemon has it, you know. I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh has it, but Yu-Gi-Oh I think we can hardly describe as competitive. Anyway. A set rotation, means that every once in a while, you know, once a year or something like that, old cards will no longer be allowed in standard play and tournament play, and only the newer cards will. So every year or every 2 years, you make cutoff, and then old cards can no longer be used. It's actually a pretty good model. I know it sounds kind of like scummy, and it is definitely something that makes it so that companies make more money with the game. But hey, Lalo, thank you so much for the sub, man. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Not competitive. I knew that was gonna trigger some people. But what it kind of is important, like it's kind of important for the player base as well, because like if you just keep pumping new cards into the game, eventually there's always going to be broken combos. That always happens. It's unavoidable. Like else the company can never make interesting cards. So having this kind of set rotation means that like certain kinds of cards are never in the same. Like if we think about Hearthstone again, you will never have Dreadsteed and Defile on the same format, standard tournament format. I mean, Wild is a thing, but Wild isn't the most popular, right? All right, everybody's is upset that I said Yu-Gi-Oh is not competitive. That's all right, guys. That's all right. One day you'll play a real game. And I say that as somebody, I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. I was competitive in that shit. When I was younger, when I was like in my early teens, I went to tournaments. I won tournaments. I was a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player. And that shit is a load of crap, I'm telling you. Like, it's the worst. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the most expensive card game, bar none. The company that creates Yu-Gi-Oh! Does things like, and this is, by the way, no shit, this is something that has happened. Alright, just to kind of like show how predatory these card game companies can be. But when they see that a card ends up being good, they will stop printing the card at the current rarity, reprint it at a higher rarity to artificially inflate the price of it. That is actually something that has happened. Come on, is that not the most absurd thing? Is that not the most absurd thing? So, let's just go ahead and move past that. I forgot where I was. All right, so in this game, right, you will still buy packs, you will still have a set rotation, you still open packs and I assume get random cards, and your deck obviously will be built out of these cards, and you obviously need the good cards in your deck. And now this is where, of course, the argument is made that, well, we don't want the rare cards to only be the good ones. But that's not true for any card game. I mean, one of the most recent Hearthstone set card nerfs had a common card in it, which was Bone Meal, right? Like, Bone Meal was so powerful it got nerfed, and that was a common. That wasn't a rare card at all. It had no value whatsoever. In many cases, there are a lot of good common cards that have, they aren't rare, right? Like, and even in Hearthstone, like, a rare card isn't rare. A rare is just something you have a lot of, right? Like, if you just play regularly, you will have access to every single rare card in the game. And those are often pretty powerful, right? Potion of Madness. Potion of Madness is one of the best cards in the game, and it's not an epic or legendary. It's just, right? Somehow pretending that you're reinventing the wheel by only having, by saying that common cards will also be good, to me is just dishonest, because that is very common in card games. In most card games, the common cards tend to be good. You're not doing anything new and revolutionary there. And also saying that, somehow, constantly saying that you're not going to be paid to win, that you're going to have a upfront cost, so you don't have to be paid to win. That's just dishonest, because you're not actually doing anything different from our card games. You're still selling packs. You still have a set rotation. You still have cards with different rarity. How are you doing things different? I don't know how you're doing things different. Now, of course, something we don't know yet is the pricing. Right? Like, maybe the rarest card in Artifact, instead of being worth $20, right? Like in Hearthstone, as I mentioned, like a legendary is priced at like $20 to $25. Maybe in Artifact, a legendary, or whatever the equivalent is, will be priced at...
Got to keep on keeping on.
Thank you, Penultimate George. But will be priced at like $5, right? Like, we don't know the exact numbers, and the exact numbers actually matter a lot here. But what I just want to point out here is that I do not like the dishonesty that is being used here. Because the business model that we have seen so far, that they are showing us, that they are promising us, while they keep flowering it up with saying it's not pay to win, it's so different, it's so revolutionary, it's just the same thing, you know, like you haven't actually done anything new. And now, again, it does come down to hard numbers, and we don't have the hard numbers yet. But I would like to see some hard numbers. All right, like, give us some hard numbers before you keep praising yourself like this. And I just don't like it. You know, it just rubs me the wrong way. Right? It just rubs me the wrong way. You get what I mean? Chat, do you get what I mean? Push one if you get what I mean. Now, another thing that's important to keep in mind here, from what I have seen so far, in Artifact, there is no actual way to get packs in any other way than just buying them with money. They are not going to have an in-game currency. To get packs, you go into the store and you drop that $, bling bling. Now, they do have one thing which is different. They're going to have a community marketplace, where you can kind of like drop cards in and, you know, like kind of like get money back and then hopefully like kind of like recycle them that way. But in the end, you're still going to have to drop money regularly to keep up with the metagame, right? Anytime they release a new set of cards, the only option you have is to buy that new set of cards. Like, you don't have another choice, because else you're going to fall behind. I mean, I guess you can sell the old cards and then get new ones that way, but that still involves selling, and then like it still involves buying cards, you know, like there's just no real way around that. So I don't really like that kind of dishonesty. I'm not a big fan of it, right? Like, it's just a little bit scummy in my book.
Yu-Gi-Oh is the best card game ever.
Hey.
If you believe so, to chat, press 1.
Thank you, Timo. But I'm just saying that I would like it more if they were a bit more honest about this, right? So yeah. Now, there are some... Anyway, I just want to point this out again. Packs are a social experience. Dude, Facebook packs are my favorite. There's lots of cool stuff in here, by the way, in this presentation. Like, automated tournaments for all skill levels. Oh. Fucking yeah, man. Fucking sick. Purchasing a pack... no, what is that? Where is it? Oh, there it is. The first tournament will be a Valve event with a $1 million prize pool. Let's go. Give me that dollar bling bling. Hey, Pyro Cairo. Thank you so much for that. Alright, but give me that dollar bling bling. Like, I'm actually like, dude, I'm totally, like, I'm taking this game seriously once I get my hands on it. Alright? But yeah. I think that's basically it. Do I have anything else I wanted to talk about here? Let's go ahead and just go do that through this really quick. Artifact is the best card game we can build. Look, I'm actually really excited for it. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think the game actually looks fucking sick. Right? I think the game looks great. And I really want to get my hands on it. Alright? I want to... Right here, like, moves away from pay to win. Like, this is just... This is something they keep saying, that they're moving away from pay to win. They're moving away from pay to win. Constantly, they're saying this. No pay to win, no pay to win, no pay to win. You get my point, right? Alright, but I think the game looks super cool. I'm really excited to actually play it. I hope I get to play it soon. There seems to be a closed beta already, which I personally am actually kind of like, you know, so something they say a lot is that the game is very competitive, right? And right now there are people that are, you know, competitive card game players that have their hands on the game already. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, you're just giving them a head start, aren't you? Like, they actually get to play and learn the game while we don't. Right? So, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. They also want to kind of like have some sort of custom game stuff, I think, which is kind of cool as well. Right? So, like, go ahead, inform yourself some more. That's just what I know about Artifact right now. I do want to, like, bring up one thing, though. And I don't know why other card games haven't done this yet. Alright? But this is what I would like from a card game. And it would be super cool if they could offer this. Why don't card games like this, like Hearthstone, offer a subscription model? Why can I not pay at $10 a month to just have access to all the cards? Wouldn't that be great? Dude, Chad, wouldn't that be fucking sick? If I could just pay like $10 a month and I just have access to all cards. And like that would just be like, why do you, if you can't afford it, well then you just play it anyway. Right? Like, but that just would be, why do you not like that? Okay, I don't get why we are like a different opinion there. Like, pay to win, bitch. What do you want then? It's a card game. Alright? Alright. That's like $120 a year. Yeah, I mean, how much do you expect card games to cost? Okay, look. Alright, chat. Let's have a discussion about the cost of card games. How much do you think a card game costs? Like, how much do you expect to spend on Artifact a month? That's what I want to know from you. How much do you expect to spend on Artifact per month? Nothing. $0. Zero. Well, I don't think that's very likely to happen, my friends. I feel like you're being a little bit unrealistic there. You know, that might be where the disconnect is coming from. Where I'm like, I would gladly spend $10 a month to just have access to everything. Right? And you're just like, no, I want everything for free. Right? It's just like, how is that going to work, my friends? Like, I just don't see that one happening. That seems a little bit unrealistic. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Now, zero like on Hearthstone while having almost all cards. I don't know how you do that. I have been playing Hearthstone since very, very early closed beta. And I do not have all cards, even though I have spent quite a bit of money on it and I play it every single day. I have done every single daily quest on Hearthstone for like 3 years. And I still do not have anywhere near all the cards. So I don't know how you do that with spending absolutely no money on it. Right? But, you know, like, that's just what I'm saying. Like, card games are just kind of like expensive. And this card game in particular will not actually offer any way for you to get it without spending any money on it. You will not have that option. You have an upfront cost, and you cannot unlock packs by just playing. So how exactly do you expect to be able to play this game while spending $0 on it? Well, I guess the answer to that is that you won't play it, right? Chat, push 1 if you're actually excited for Artifact and think you're gonna play it. And push 2 if you think that you can spend $0 on it, aka you're not gonna play it. Like, well, I don't know. Because, like, I'm excited for this game. We got some split opinions on that. I guess you all are not into this. Why are you not liking it? What's wrong? Okay, what's turning you off of Artifact? Let's have another, let's do some questions here, right? Like, to everybody that said, too, I don't want to play this game, what's turning you off of Artifacts? Is it A, the way the game looks? Is it B, the gameplay? Or is it C, the business model? Or is it D, you just don't want to play the game for some other fucking reason? Like, Yep, everybody's all about that business model. Yeah, again, like, I don't know. Alright. Well, we had a little bit of a feedback session there. Hey, I'm still excited for it. I just like myself some card games.
$40 starting booster pack, premium pack, and like $5 to $15 a month if you are searching for cards. Maybe a free beginning deck or something, but that's about it. I don't really do much card play, so I'm not really the target.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to, you know, like, the kind of people you have, the kind of audience you have there. Anyway. So that about sums it up for this little artifact discussion here. That ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a rating on the video, right? That would be nice. And look, I'm excited for fucking Artifact. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what chat is saying. Like, the business model to me isn't perfect from what I can see. But I'm excited for it, man. It looks cool. So yeah. Alright. I'll see you guys.